Welcome to This Side of 50, the podcast where men of all ages come to gain clarity, confidence, and direction. I'm Milton K. Smith, your host, a seasoned voice that's living, learning, and leveling up. I'm here to share with you knowledge, understanding, and wisdom that I've gained throughout the years. Each week, we'll tackle real-life challenges, share practical tools, and hopefully inspire you to keep going. If you're ready to gain clarity, confidence, and direction, then this is your podcast. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is. Thank you so much for joining. This is This Side of 50, Not Your Grandparents podcast. As the introduction said, I'm your host. We're back for another episode. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. I don't know what joining means. Thank you for listening. And we're going to get started. So we've talked about in the previous episodes, I think episode 1, we talked about committing to the challenge that you have to commit, right? And then episode 2, we said that whatever fears you don't conquer today, they'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, you've had a chance to reflect on those questions. What area do you need to be more committed in your life? And also, what fears have been holding you back? What would your life look like if fear didn't lead the conversation? And we're going to talk today. This is episode 3 in this series in our season here of lessons I've learned from CrossFit. We're going to talk today about flexibility brings growth. Flexibility brings growth. As I've started with every episode this season, I started doing CrossFit when, yes, that's right, in my late 40s into my 50s, was blessed to become a coach, a level 1 coach, and did some other wonderful things at the box that I was at. Had some extraordinary teachers and coaches that helped motivate me, help encourage me, right? One of the things that I did not like to do, and I still shy away from it, not my favorite thing, is stretching. Did not like stretching. I think stretching takes too much time. Actually, stretching most times, oftentimes, hurts more than the actual WOD, the actual routine that we were doing. But stretching is a vital part of staying healthy. Actually, that a lot of the injuries that we suffer as we get older doesn't come just from, I guess, getting older to that point. It really comes from lack of stretching, lack of mobility, right? And our muscles and things, they like a rubber band, as they become older, they become more brittle, and then we try to stretch them without any warning, and they just crack, snap, and pop on us, right? Crack, snapple, and pop. Is that right? I think that's right. Crack, snapple, and pop. Something like that. Anyway, and they break on us, right? So flexibility becomes a must as you're getting older, that you definitely have to, stay loose, stretch, and all those kind of things. Get massages, all those things. Therapy. I have a massage gun, all types of things, and I struggle to use them just because of I just don't like stretching. But flexibility brings growth, and that's what I learned. A lot of the exercises, especially overhead squats. I struggle with overhead squats. For those who know what that is, I struggle with overhead squats, and the problem that I was having is that my ankles, my feet, my ankles, feet, knees, whatever, lacked the flexibility when I first started to adequately perform that particular movement. And as I practiced and became more stretchable, over the years, I can now still to this day I can do overhead squats, right? So flexibility brings growth. Here's something to start off with. Stiff minds can't attach, or stiff minds can't stretch into new blessings, right? Stiff minds can't stretch into new blessings. If you want to go to the next level, you're going to have to stretch your mind. You're going to have to go beyond your comfortability. You're going to have to endure the pain of going outside the box, of reaching higher, reaching further than what you reached before, right? If you don't stretch your mind, and we'll just use real life. If you don't learn AI, if you don't learn computers, if you don't learn technology, yes, you can continue to do it your way. And yes, the way that you grew up on works, and it was good enough for then. But if you're going to stay relevant, if you're going to stay flexible, if you're going to stay pliable in today's culture and generation, you're going to have to learn that AI, that Instagram, that Facebook, whatever the case may be, right? You're going to have to get you a new phone sooner or later. If you still have a flip phone, it may work. It does the necessities. But life is so much better when you can stretch your mind and let it become adapted to modern technology, right? So, oftentimes, God leads us, or He bends us so that He doesn't have to break us. In other words, I believe that a lot of the stress that we go through, a lot of the tension, a lot of the contention that we go through as people is because we just won't stretch, right? We just won't let go. We just won't reach outside of our box. We just won't go any further. We're stuck in our ways. We won't change. There's that old saying that you can't teach a old dog new tricks. Well, you can if the dog wants to be taught, right? You can learn something new if you really want to. And I'm challenging you right in the middle of this discussion today. Start thinking about something that you said you're not going to do, you would never do. That's not for you, and it's not necessary. Too much is changing. All that we put in our minds, that cognitive dissonance that I often talk about, and say, hey, I'm going to try this thing. I'm going to do this thing. Right? You got to stretch your mind. You got to stretch your mind like you stretch your body. If not, your mind will become weak. Those neural pathways will start to decay and start to weaken, and you'll find yourself in a state of helplessness, really. So you won't do that, right? Flexibility is the proof that humility and learning are alive. It requires a level of humbleness, a level of humility, a level of I'm not as great as I think I am. I don't know everything. I can't do everything. It requires that come to Jesus moment, right? That realization that hey, I have to become more flexible. I have to admit that I can improve. I have to admit that hey, I'm as we talked about in our last episode. You have to admit that I'm scared to do this, right? I'm scared. But you have to become flexible. And I promised myself, this is a side note, that as I listen to my podcast, I use the word right a lot. So I'm promising myself that I'm going to limit how many times I say the word right as an interjection. So, flexibility is the proof that humility and learning are alive. See, I just threw that kind of in there. I'm trying to be flexible, trying to get used to not just going through my normal routine of talking and speaking, but also speech proofing myself, right? That's a level. See, I use it right there. Did y'all catch that? So I got to work on it. Speech proofing myself and becoming more flexible. Growth requires giving up the comfort of familiarity. Growth requires giving up the comfort of familiarity. I'm looking at my volume right now. My volume seems really, I don't know, is it too loud? Drop me a note or something in Instagram. Anyway, growth requires giving up the comfort of familiarity. If you're going to grow, you're going to have to leave the familiar. If you're going to grow, when I left Petersburg, Virginia, some 30 some years ago to come to San Antonio, that was leaving familiarity, leaving my family, what I grew up with, everything I knew. I'm coming to San Antonio, Texas. All I knew about Texas was David Robinson and the Spurs. I knew Dallas, which was a TV show. That's all I knew about Texas, right? And I get here, and look, we're here 30 some years later, and I'm still here. Growth requires give up the comfort of familiarity, and I would say that was one of the best decisions I made to stretch myself and leave my home and come move 1,500 miles away. CrossFit was another stretching, not just the exercise of stretching and the run wads and range of motion and all those things that we do that I may mention a little bit later on this episode. It was a stretch to say, hey, I can do this even at my age, middle age. I can do this. Even in the level of health that I was at that point, that I can do this. I just have to stretch my mind and believe that I can. And one thing that I learned and one thing I gained, or maybe not one thing, but one of the most important things I gained was enhancing my range of motion. Enhancing my range of motion, being more flexible, being able to move more freely, being able to move more effectively to the point that this is where I am now in my health, right? That was number two. I think I said, okay, right to the point now that I really work out, I really exercise to maintain my range of motion. Maintain my range of motion. Stretching hurts at first, but so does staying stuck. Stretching hurts at first, but so does staying stuck. Remember that. Stretching hurts at first, but so does staying stuck. Stretching hurts at first, but so does staying stuck. I'll keep saying that. Here's why stretching hurts at first. Because you've been stuck in that position so long that when you stretch those muscles now are like, what's going on? Why are you making me move? I'm not familiar with this position you're putting me in. I'm not familiar. We had the prayer pose. I'm trying to remember the prayer pose, and I can't even think of all of them now. And I can see them all in my head. The scorpion, um, um, the downward dog, up dog, all those things, right? Stretching that just hurt. The pigeon stretch. Oh God, I thought that was so awful. The pigeon stretch. If you ever done that, right? The pigeon stretch. That things that just hurt when you do them, but they hurt because we've stayed stuck in that position in a particular place so long. And here's what you want to overcome in your life: not being stuck in a particular thought, in a particular pattern to the point that it hurts you when you move or try to move or even think about moving outside of that comfort, right? So I think it was 4 times I said it now. See, I'm counting in my head. So flexibility expands capacity. Flexibility expands capacity. The more flexible you are, the more you're able to absorb, the more you're able to do, the more you're able to accomplish, the more you're able to fathom in your mind. Flexibility actually expands your creativity as well. I believe if you learn to stretch your mind, and flexibility will become second nature. Learn to stretch your mind, and flexibility will become second nature. If you learn to stretch your mind, when I walked into CrossFit, I had to stretch my mind. One, that I could do those things that I was watching, have seen, and two, that I had to overcome my fear, and then three, I had to commit to the challenge. I went back to those first 2 episodes. Did you all catch that? I had to overcome those things, stretch my mind, and said I can do this. When I had the opportunity to compete in the strongman competition, just wanted to pull a truck, but I had to stretch my mind that I could carry a yoke, I could mount, load stones, I could do oh, I forgot now. I can see it with the axle lifts and all those things of that nature, right? I had to tell myself, stretch my mind and see myself doing those things, and to the point that, hey, now it's actually coming to fruition. It's coming into manifestation because I've stretched my mind, right? Has stretched my mind. That was 5 times I said it. Health, in my health. So we're going straight to our health because I don't hold you long on these podcasts. I know you're busy. You may want to listen to another podcast. I want you to keep listening to mine. Like, share, subscribe, all those things. Tell your friends about it. This side of 50, Not Your Parents Podcast. These are the life lessons I've gained from CrossFit. We're on number 3. Flexibility brings growth. In your health, flexibility prevents injury and expands your range of motion. We've talked about flexibility. It will prevent injury and expand your range of motion in your health. I have committed, or I'm committing myself that, hey, I'm gonna get a massage once a month. That's gonna help get knots out my body, help stretch those muscles. I'm trying to convince myself to be more proactive in stretching, not just when I'm preparing to exercise or run or walk real fast, really, because I don't really run. I walk fast. My arms be moving my arms be moving in full throttle. My legs just look like they're walking. It's really something you should see. Flexibility prevents injury and expands your range of motion. Adaptability keeps you stable in changing markets. This is when it comes to your finances, right? You have to, this is number 6 times I said right. So you have to be adaptable with your finances. You have to know when to cut, when not to cut, what you need, what you don't need. I call it downsizing and right sizing. I've done that with my budget. I'm still in the process of looking at those things as I move into the golden years of my life. And as the market, as the culture, as the financial status of the world is changing, adaptability keeps you stable in changing markets. You have to look at where things are going, be honest with yourself, be willing to right size and downsize, and then adapt. Be flexible in your finances. You have to be flexible in your relationships. Flexibility fosters understanding and peace. It does not have to always be your way. And you may be right. You may be exactly right. What you're saying is the truth. Learn to be flexible in your relationships, on your jobs, with your mate, with your spouse. It'll make your life, with your children. It's going to make your life so much easier. And then in your career, right? That's 7 times. Openness to new methods leads to mastery. Openness to new methods leads to new mastery. When you're flexible in your career, I have reinvented myself 3 to 4 times. 3 to 4 times. That may be another episode. reinventing yourself. I look at that for a season. See, we can do that for maybe next season or season after next. Openness to new methods leads to new mastery. And then finally, in your behavior, flexibility is faith in motion. It's the willingness to bend before you break. Don't stay stuck. Don't stay stagnant so long. Don't refuse to change because flexibility really can be defined as change. Don't stay so stuck in your ways so long that at the end of the day you break. You learn to bend. It's okay not to have it your way. It's okay to admit I need to stretch. I need to learn how to do this, that, or the other. With this podcast, I had to ask my children, how do you do this right here? How do we do Linktree? How you schedule this Instagram? My grandbaby, she got me into TikTok. She said, Pop, you need to be on TikTok. Now I'm not on TikTok that much, but I stretched after I was saying, that's young people stuff. I ain't got time for that. Yes, I do. I just had to rearrange my schedule and do some other things, take some things out, and then go forward with that. So you have to be flexible. Flexibility brings growth. Flexibility brings creativity. Flexibility increases your range of motion and increases your capacity, right? Here we go. So that was 8 times. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna like maybe start pinching myself every time I say right. What you all think about that? Give me some ideas about using some different catchwords. Here's the question for the day, right here. Deals with flexibility. Where have you been too rigid, physically, mentally, or spiritually? Right? How could flexibility create freedom? How could flexibility create freedom? I think once you sit down and begin to examine yourself, much like I'm doing with using the word right so much, you'll learn and you'll see areas where you've been rigid, areas you need to change, areas that you can become more flexible in physical things and mental things and spiritual things and relationships and finances. You can experience that freedom by being willing to be flexible, by being willing to change. Well, that's all my time for today. We've been here together 15 minutes or so. Hopefully, this will encourage you. I'll see you in the next episode. Talk to you later. Bye. Well, that's all for today on This Side of 50. If you found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe, share with a friend, and leave a review. Connect with us on social media for updates, tips, and inspiration between episodes. Remember, keep living, keep learning, keep leveling up, and most of all, don't settle. And I'll see you in the next episode.